You know what's trendy? Trendnet's Ethernet over power is pretty darn trendy.
Another Spike Studio product review. This is Trendnet's Powerline 200 AV Nano adapter kit. It is Ethernet over power.
Welcome everybody, Spike Studio product review. This time is something I've actually used before, but I was happy to get my hands on to have it for myself. I was using someone else's before. This is Trendnet. This is Ethernet over power. What this lets you do is actually create yourself an Ethernet type network over your power lines in an area where you can't get Wi-Fi or you can't get a network cable to where you need it to go, as long as they're on the same electrical circuitry, let's say. You can't go across between multiple houses or apartments or things like that. But the idea is that you're actually taking their adapters and you're able to plug in internet to one side and then plug a device in the other side and have internet connectivity. So let's talk about what it gives you as well as what's in the box. It has one central hub that plugs into your router, and then it has up to 3 additional ones for this central nano model. That lets you put in one connector somewhere that you have an internet connection, and then plug in 3 different devices somewhere around the house. One of them could be an access point. Keep that in mind. People haven't thought that far ahead yet. So let's take a look. On the side of the box, we're going to have some diagnostics and simple things. They make it very clear in the diagrams. Packaging, very compact, very sleek. It does come with 2 Ethernet cables. Why? The box has 2 devices by default. One that you plug into your router and one that you plug in for one of the devices. You can buy additional ones. So 2 internet cables, thank you to them for that. It also comes with a CD and an instruction book. Now, if you notice, I haven't taken a lot of this apart, but I know what's in the box already. CD has a user guide, has some utilities built into it. You really don't need this. It's plug and play ready. You basically plug it in and it knows what to do. You don't have to do a lot of the work. One thing you should note, and they put this on the diagram, but they don't highlight it very well, in my opinion, on the diagram to say it's a quick installation guide. It has 2 steps on the quick installation guide. Just 2. Plug it in and it works. That's the 2 steps. But you need to note exactly what it tells you to do on the very bottom. It's telling you, by the way, it's EU, US, and UK adapter certified. On the very bottom, they tell you, do not plug the device itself into a power strip. The router can be plugged into a power strip, as well as your internet modem or whatever. But this device that we're about to pull out of the box must be plugged into a wall outlet directly, not to a power strip, on both ends. Make sure it's connected directly to the circuit, to the plug in the wall that it's going to go through. Do not put in a power strip and plug the power strip in the wall. It won't work. So what do I get when I start connecting these up? Up to 200 of meg of throughput. Keep in mind, most of your network cards are probably 100 meg, so you won't see the 200 unless you're running a gigabit network, at which you'll only see 200 max. So that was just an interesting point that some people overlooked. So how tiny are these things? Well, let's take a look at one here. As you can see, they're pretty darn small. They have an LED indicator on the side that lets you know that 1, they're Ethernet connected, and number 2, there is power going through. So it's a very small device, fits in the palm of your hand if you're wondering how big it is. It has an Ethernet port on the bottom and a reset button. That's it. So I plug one into there, I take one of their Ethernet cables, plug it in, plug that directly into my router to one of the 4 or 8 ports, whatever you have on your router. Then I take another one of these, they look identical, I can pull the second one out of the box and you'll go, huh, they look just the same. And put that into the wall right near the device I want to hook up, be it an Xbox, be it another access point, be it another device that just needs a computer that just needs it somewhere in the house, maybe in the basement and you cannot get Wi-Fi to it for some reason. This is a great one to actually put into place, and you'll see a second device identical to the first. Remember that one of these plugged into the router can support up to 3 of these plugged into the actual electrical power somewhere else in the house on that circuit, so you can then have internet connectivity to multiple places. It's a great feature. Otherwise, what do we get when we actually plugged it in? We got performance. It worked well. I've used this specifically for over 3 weeks in South Africa, so I know that this worked. We were actually able to bridge because the side place we were staying in was connected to the main house. We plugged one of these in the router in the house because the internet was not reaching because of the concrete walls. Plugged one of these into where we were with an access point. We had Wi-Fi. It worked beautifully well. It worked consistently. It didn't have any issues with performance or degradation. I could imagine the length of electrical line eventually could have an issue, but it was no more than 100 feet probably to their, the main housing stuff. So that's it. So a couple other key things they note in the box. It's auto connect installation, meaning it sees it on there. That's why the reset button if it doesn't, but it was plug and play every time we did with it. It has energy savings, meaning it knows to power itself down a little bit when the devices are being used. So if the device connected directly to the Ethernet port isn't in use, well, it's going to actually drop the power down on this to be ready and aware, like a ready state, a power state. And last part, encrypted connection. So the data going between the two devices builds its own little virtual encrypted network. How strong it is, I'm not really sure. I couldn't tell you that. I don't think it says anywhere on here how strong the encryption is. You could probably find it in the user guide or online for more information. So we want to thank Trendnet for sending this over. This is their Nano adapter kit. Comes in a small packaging box, 2 devices, 2 internet cables. You need nothing else because the plugs are built in. It is certified, and these screw off, but it's for EU, UK, and USA certified for the power parts themselves. Thanks to Trendnet for sending this over. Please subscribe to the playlist on YouTube or subscribe to the channel itself. Leave us some comments below, and if you have any other products you want us to review, let us know. Send us an email, drop us a note in the comment section. Otherwise, another product review from Spike Studio.